Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the Mafex Batman from the new Batman Adventures. This is the first animated Batman character they've made so far. I find it a little odd they would start the new Batman Adventures and not Batman the Animated Series. Batman the Animated Series is my preferred look for an animated Batman. I got this figure from amyamy.com. Probably the best price website to get these Mafex figures from. If you're buying them from an American website, you should definitely check out Amy. It's way cheaper and way faster than the American stores. So let's check out the packaging here. As you can see at the top, DC, the new Batman Adventures, Batman action figure by Mafex Medicom Toys. Here's Batman holding a Batarang. Here he is in the package. Looks like he has an unmasked Bruce Wayne head. It's pretty cool. I see a Batarang, a whole bunch of hands, and what looks like a grappling hook. One side of the package, new Batman Adventures. Other side, Batman posed up. This is the 137th figure in the Mafex line. At the bottom, a bunch of credits. There is a barcode, in case that helps anybody. And on the back side, here's Batman standing there. Here are the two different heads. And here he is with a couple different accessories. So with no further ado, let's open him up. And of course, I did get two of these figures, one of which to open and enjoy, and one to keep unopened in my complete 6 and 7 inch unopened Batman action figure collection. And here's the Mafex Batman from the new Batman Adventures, next to the DC Collectibles version of the Batman for the new Batman Adventures. They do appear to scale up pretty good together. Went ahead and added that guy to my big pile of unopened Batman-related Mafex figures. I currently have them all out as I'm doing videos of all of my Batman-related unopened action figures. He's at the very top of the pile there. Alright, now they got this figure out of the package. Here he is with all his accessories laid out. He does come with a flight stand, an alternate cape, both cloth and plastic. He's got 8 alternate hands, totaling 10 interchangeable hands, an alternate unmasked Bruce Wayne head, a Batarang, and a Bat Grappler. But before we take a look at the accessories, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Batman from the new Batman Adventures. The new Batman Adventures is Season 4 of Batman the Animated Series. They completely redesigned all the figures, and for the most part, I think they made them look worse. It still has that sort of same Batman the Animated Series stylized look to it, and it's a pretty good looking Batman. But me personally, I prefer Batman the Animated Series Season 1 through 3. Surprised it would start off with this version. DC Collectibles also start off with this version. So let's take a look at him. He's got that square jaw, ears, very straight lines on the head. It actually looks very nice, very reminiscent of the show. The bat symbol, no oval, large chest area. All looks pretty good. I don't like the way the wrists look. Very sort of thin, little ball there. Beyond that, he feels like he moves pretty good. It's not like the DC Collectibles one, where you think you're going to break him by touching him. Legs, very thin, a little thin for my taste. But they're articulated nicely, and they don't feel fragile at all. 2 thumbs up for that. I know my DC Collectibles version, his foot broke off, and I think his other foot broke off. Just so fragile. Looks pretty nice. Looks like double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, probably a double ball joint here. This is a cloth wired cape, liking that. And just a closer look at his face and head sculpt, I think that's pretty good. The design had a lot of straight lines. It was kind of basic, but it worked so good for Batman the Animated Series. And then, here's the figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's take a look at his accessories, and let's start off with the display stand. So here's his display stand. It's a transparent flight stand. I recognize some of the pieces, but there's a bunch of stuff I'm not really sure what to do with. Well, I definitely know what to do with these pieces, so we'll start with this. Here are the 3 pieces assembled that a normal Mafex stand would come with, and that'll leave us with these other pieces. So they clearly assemble like this, and you could also use that other piece to make sort of a seat type thing. It's going to hold probably more weight this way. Now let's look at his hands. He has 10 of them. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. And I will repeat, I do not like the way the wrist looks. He has a couple of completely open hands. Here are his next hands. These are sort of some normal, relaxed looking hands at his sides. Could possibly pick something up. Could possibly be typing in the back computer. Here are a couple of gripping hands with a small grip. These are probably intended for the Batarang. And here are his final hands. These two hands are going to be intended to use his grapnel launcher. Now let's look at his heads. He has two of them, one with the mask on and one unmasked. Here's the masked head, and here's the unmasked head. Actually looks pretty spot on to the source material. Now let's check out his capes. One is cloth with a wire on the side, and one is made of rubber. They both look pretty good, and I know there are some people that are fans of the cloth cape, some that are fans of the plastic cape, so you get best of both worlds. That's what it came with in the package. The top is made of sort of plastic or rubber. You can stretch out pretty good amount, and it does have a bendy wire in the side. Then we have this other cape, hard material, got a little bit of give to it. Here's Batman wearing the cloth cape. And here, wearing the plastic rubbery cape. Now which type of guy are you? A cloth cape or a plastic cape type guy? Drop me a line in the comments below. I'll probably use the plastic cape most of the time because it just looks a certain kind of way, and only use a cloth cape when he's like gliding or I want to see it sort of fluttering in the wind. So this is how my figure's going to look most of the time, with this cape and these hands. Here's his Batarang. Nothing really wrong with it except for the fact that it's silver. Should be black or blue. I'm not really sure why they made that decision. Also, I don't really feel like it looks fully right. I feel like it should be a little wider. Here's Batman holding and getting ready to throw his Batarang. Here's his grapnel launcher. I don't really like the fact that it has a permanently attached hook and rope. The base here looks pretty good. Very basic on the paint job, but it has that Batman the Animated Series sort of grapnel look to it. Then it has this thing, and it's not even a bendy wire. It's completely solid. Goes the other side. Hook looks good, but you're not able to bend it. Doesn't give you a lot of adaptability. I wish this had a little peg and you could remove this. Tempting to cut that off, but I'm not going to do it for now. Here's Batman holding and launching his grapnel launcher. I do want to point out, with both the Batarang and the grapnel launcher, if you want Batman to lift his arm above his shoulder, you have to use the cloth cape. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing at about 6.25 inches tall, which can translate to about 16 centimeters, and if you go to the top of the ears, about 6.4 inches tall. Now let's check out his articulation, and notice I switched to the cloth cape for that. That way nothing's prohibited. Starting with his head here, of course you can rotate from side to side. You can look up and down about that much, not too much. Can't tilt his head from one side to the other. Give him a good amount of personality. Shoulders, ball joint, goes out 90 degrees, no problem. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He does have a butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest. Can't see it much from the front, and that's actually really well done. But you can see it from the back. You can see it comes out. Give him a good amount of range of motion, increasing it there. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbow goes in about that far. His wrist here, of course, you can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. I believe his double ball joint here. One is torso, can rotate around, go forward and back. Another one is waist, can rotate around, go forward and back, giving him very good range of motion his torso. His legs only go out about this far. They're ball joints. Forward, that much. Back, that much. Rotation, not too bad. Minimal there. Double jointed knees. Then his ankle here goes forward and back. Can rotate. Can't really tilt and rock unless you rotate the ball there, and then you can tilt and rock to your heart's desire. And he has toe articulation. Here's Batman doing research in the Batcave. Here's Batman doing some research at the Batcomputer while Alfred is serving him a snack. And now, here's Batman responding to Gordon's call. Here's Batman with Gordon on GCB rooftops with the bat signal. Here's Batman and Robin in front of the bat signal on a Gotham rooftop. Here's Batman with the new Batman Adventures Bat family on our rooftop. We've got Nightwing, Batman, Robin, and Batgirl. They scale pretty good together. And with some more allies, now that we have the Adventures Continue figures. Then, here's Batman with the Batmobile in the Gotham streets. Now let's check them out, next to some other action figures. Starting off with some other Mafex figures. Here's the new Batman Adventures Batman, next to the Mafex Dark Knight 3.0 Batman. Then, next to a DC Cinematic Universe Ben Affleck Batman from Justice League. And here, next to a Hush Batman. And then, next to a Mafex Dark Knight Returns Batman. Here are all the different Mafex Batman figures that I have. And yes, I have them all. Now let's check them out, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles, the new Batman Adventures figures. Here he is next to Batman. This Batman is pretty similarly scaled. The Mafex one is a little bit bigger, and that pleases me. I also think his proportions are better. He's definitely less fragile. Here are all the DC Direct Bat Family characters from the new Batman Adventures. This is how they scale up next to each other. And honestly, they scale pretty good with this Batman as well. Here they are with the Mafex Batman. Here's Batman next to DC Collectibles, Batman the Animated Series Sidekicks. Then, next to some DC Collectibles, Batman The Adventures Continue Sidekicks. And here, next to some more Batman supporting characters. These are in their animated series looks, not the new Batman Adventures looks. Here are all the villains that DC Direct and DC Collectibles made from the new Batman Adventures, and they all work pretty well with this Mafex Batman. And here are all the villains they made from Batman the Animated Series. They also work pretty well with this Mafex Batman. Now let's check them out, next to some other animated Batman figures. Here he is with the DC Direct Batman the Animated Series Batman. Then, there the new Batman Adventures Batman. And here, with their animated Justice League Batman. Then, with the DC Direct Terry McGinnis Batman Beyond Batman. And then with Batman from The Adventures Continue in the armored suit. Here's the Mafex Batman on the DC Collectibles Batman the Animated Series Batcycle. He's a little bit too big for it, but it looks pretty good with on there. Only thing noticeable, can't really get his feet to attach to the pedals. Here's this Mafex, the new Batman Adventures Batman, next to McFarlane's DC Multiverse Batman the Animated Series Batman. Now this McFarlane's an odd one. It's sort of a hybrid of the Batman and the Animated Series and the new Batman Adventures. Now let's check them out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know which lines you can mix them with. I'm going to start off with the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller, and I'm going to include as many Batman figures as I can during these comparisons. Here he is, next to some Jakks-specific wrestling figures, and here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Here, next to some McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman figures. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles Batman figures. And here, next to some NECA Batman figures. Then, next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some Mezco 1/12 Collective Batman figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse Batman figures. And since we've already checked him out next to a bunch of other Mafex Batman figures, here he is with a bunch of regular Mafex figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is next to some SH Figure Arts Batman figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, this is a very nice figure. I definitely like him more than the DC Collectibles version, but he costs about 3 times as much. He looks better, he moves better, and he's not as fragile. His articulation is pretty good. His sculpt and paint job are excellent, no issues there. His accessories, they're okay. I do really like the 2 different capes and the 2 different heads. It's really cool that Mafex is making movie Batman figures, comic Batman figures, and now animated Batman figures. I would love to have an animated Batman figure from each show, but I doubt that's going to happen. Mafex comic Batman figures are my favorite of their releases. If I were to rate this guy, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I'm definitely happy that I like him better than the DC Collectibles version. because as much as I like that one, it has plenty of flaws. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.